So speaking about the New York scene, you also did some LL Cool J, according to
Yeah,
the
yeah, I did that
internet.
with Jason. LL was always now. Let me be real clear about my work in the African American community. I look at myself when I do work in hip hop or R&B as a guest in that community. Now, if I'm a guest at your house, I can't come in and put my feet on the furniture. If I'm eating at your house, I have to take, when I'm through with dinner, I have to take my plate, put it in the sink, offer to wash the dishes. I'm a guest, and so I've always treated my respect I've gotten from the Black community um, as an honor and a privilege, not an occupation. And that honesty and I hope it's still felt today, but that was part of what was going on at that time for me. Yeah.
That's really interesting. So do you feel that, like, when you're doing like a white pop artist, like, okay, that's cool, I'm in my house, but then with a black artist you don't feel the same way? And I'm just curious, because it's a really really great way that you just put that, but I'm wondering, like, when do you feel like you're in your house?
I don't really. I mean, I don't want to talk too much negative at this time in this period because I had it easy compared to most of the world today, particularly the African American community. I had bad times, um, real bad times, and I've had family members visited by the Klan. I've had a lot of bad times, but I don't want to go into that so much as to say that when I left Ybor City, which was all Spanish speaking, and it had a few African Americans in it. If I left with my friends, I got blue eyes. And when I was in my community, the people that didn't know me beat me up because they thought I was white, which I am, I guess, but I'm Spanish white, and so I get beat up there. And then when I left the community with my friends, I got beat up because I was hanging out with Hispanic people. And so at a very young age, like six, I say beat up, it's like little 6-year-olds fighting and seven
Yeah,
year olds.
yeah.
That's why I never felt like I belonged to anything. And then when the vision cleared up, I knew I belonged to music, and my mother kind of encouraged that, and so the only way I feel comfortable in life and feel like that's where I belong is like talking to you right now. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you different than I talk to anybody else because I respect your abilities. I respect your path. I respect the effort you put in. I respect your creativity. There's you're one of the people that I really wanted to meet when I moved here because I knew you from the Sinclair days. I knew of you.
We did
I
have the
think it
Sinclair
was you. I can't
connection.
remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so for me, the only time I really feel like where I'm comfortable as a person is is when music's involved, and by music I mean people who I respect doing it, and then I respect the interns at the studio as much as I respect you. Don't get me wrong, but it's different, and 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 um, and so that feeling of like when I go to a party, my father, who's a bit introverted too, he used to say, "The way you do it, son, is go a little bit late, make a big entrance, stay about an hour, pretend like you're going to the bathroom and sneak out." And so that's my party routine, you know.
Yep. Everybody knows you
And
were there. Yep.
my father was a brilliant man. He also said one time, "Never trust a woman with thin lips." And 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 he also said, "Son," well, he said, "Hijo, if you pick up a date and she's wearing comfortable footwear, you ain't getting nothing." So, so he could have been wrong about the party thing. I don't know,
No, I don't know.
but
I mean, and fashion changes with footwear as well. But yeah, I can see the point. It's the making an effort.
but but when I say I don't feel like I fit in, it's not like a psychologically quantifiable feeling. It's just
Right.
more a feeling. Sometimes it's like being a stranger and walking into a room, of strangers. You don't know who to talk to or something. But over the time, over years, I've been able to make friends and say hello and hopefully try to be a good conversationalist with people I don't know. But
Yeah, but
I
also I
still have
think
that little. Let me stop you real quick. You know what it's like? I had this friend in high school who was kind of overweight. Well, she was real overweight. She wore those kind of glasses that go like that, with little diamonds on the end. She had like a horrible hairdo, and um, and then after high school, I saw her and she was just beautiful. Couldn't believe it. And we dated for a while after high school, and um, it was pretty clear that even when she looked in the mirror and saw this beautiful woman, in her eyes, she still saw the fat, ugly woman. And she was one of a handful of people that scored higher on the SATs than me. So um, but I didn't even pay attention to her in high school. I felt so bad. But anyway, I think that's a human condition that's somewhat normal. If you a struggling actor and all you get is rejected for parts, and you finally get a part, all those rejections don't go away. They're still part of your psyche.
yeah.
And um, and so even though it could be argued that I've had a lot of success, it's hard for me to feel that way all the time. Every once in a while, maybe once every 4 or 5 months, I'll get one of those little slumps and I have to talk myself out of it. But usually I try to let other people talk me out of it. I'm not real good at doing that for myself. Uh, but yeah, I think being an outside observer on society gives you a certain creative advantage that you can't get any other way. I don't think it's comfortable to live there, but to visit that once in a while, I think is a good thing.
Yeah,
That
well, it
makes no
goes back
sense.
to what you were saying right at the beginning about, you go to the park and observe people. Like you're always seeing what the situation is and deciding how you're going to fit into it. And it doesn't mean that you don't, you aren't your own person and you're only doing what you think other people want, but you're aware. You're aware of what is going on and what not only what people expect, but also how you should be to get out of it what you want. I mean, that has to be a side effect of it. You read the room and like, man, I want this to go this way, and here's how I can help make that happen.
Yeah, I think so. I think so, Andrew. Would you consider yourself sort of introverted,
Oh God, yeah. I make
a lot
Debbie like I
introverted?
won't even order food from a restaurant because I don't want to like explain. Like, yeah, I make Debbie do everything like that. I'm terrible with that. Really, really bad with
Do you
people I
think
don't
you think
know.
the majority? Do you think the majority of our friends, who are all engineers and producers, obviously, um,
You
which I'm
know,
not mad at, do you think that's a pervasive feeling?
No, it's really interesting actually, because that's been part of what's been so great about doing these. And you've got to have the same thing. From we haven't even started talking about Pensado's place. I mean, you're on episode 449, I think. I'm on you're number
Mm.
15, so I got a long way to go. But we've talked about this a lot, which is about half the people have what I've got, which is the imposter syndrome, like always thinking you're going to get found out and you're not any good. And
Yeah,
part of that
yeah.
is that people are very bad at realizing the thing that comes easy to them is actually difficult for other people, so you don't appreciate it. I'm very self-aware
Uh,
about this stuff, but
yeah,
a lot of them have
yeah.
it, but a lot of them don't. There are a lot of people who are just like, no, man, I'm great and this is what needs to happen. Like I went into that situation, I knew what it needed, and they were right. And it's not an arrogance, it's a self-confidence, but I definitely don't have that, and that then makes me introverted.
I'm not sure I agree with the last sentence, but I 100% agree with everything else. I think introversion is, for me, I don't want to get too deep into the psychiatric elements of it, but I think that parenting is an impossible task. So, and then I think parenting today could use a little bit of an upgrade. But I think if you love your children and they know you love them, you're good. You're home free as a parent. But that rarely happens in a way that, like for me, my father loved me, but I was looking for love in Fahrenheit and he was giving it in centigrade. So that kind of gave me a different, like Dad wouldn't go out and play football or basketball with me when I was a kid, but we'd go down into his electronics shop and build a TV set for, or a new guitar amp, and or we built computers, we built everything. And so it took me a while to realize that my father did play football with me, but it was his version of that with a father-son relationship. So that's why my centigrade Fahrenheit metaphor comes in. But the damage was already done,
Right.
And so I kept trying to please my father, but there's no way I could because he didn't understand America and he didn't understand. And things came pretty easy to Dad. He was like probably one of the most handsome men that had ever lived. So with that on his side, plus an incredible accent, you can imagine how easy life was for him at his social level.
That's why he knew about what shoes people were wearing and what was going to happen.
Yeah.
God, it's funny.
So for me, it's kind of an ingrained thing, and then also too, I got a little bit of age on you, and I never thought about it, but the age group of people you can choose from for friends when you're 18 is the width of the pyramid at the bottom here. But as you get to the top, it's like at my age, my friends are dying. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot less to choose from, and then I did lose a lot of friends in the Vietnam War. I probably lost 5 or 6 really extremely close friends, and that's a whole nother subject.
Wow.
But as you journey through life, the pool from which you can choose friends from is getting smaller and smaller. But yet, the 90s and the early 2000s was bigger than it had ever been because we were all seeing each other. Like we went to New York 4 or 5 times a week, and I could see you in New York, or I could see Mike Dean in Houston, or we were traveling, and there was a lot of movement, and so that was a good period for me because I got to hang out with people that understood what my profession was about. It's a lot like if you're a cliff diver in, say, Mexico, you can't go home and discuss cliff diving with your wife. You got to discuss it with another cliff diver. So at some point in time, your friends are all cliff divers.
Yeah.
So this pandemic has been a little bit brutal on me until I discovered Zoom. It's been a little brutal on me. But what helped me come out of it was hearing from people like you that I was, and then I've got friends that are actually internet friends now, and friends that I Zoom with, and then my assistants, several of my assistants, and I Zoom a lot, and then Facebook we do that. FaceTime we do that a lot. Yeah. So it is a good time. I do miss the actual being physically in a room with someone, but this is pretty close, Like
yeah,
you're in London,
I mean, you think it's close until you get back in the room with somebody, and then you realize, oh, right. But look, without this, like, I cannot imagine what going through the flu pandemic in 1918 was like. There's no technology.
No.
It's crazy.
No.